What is going on, everyone? Welcome back on Blockgems. So today I want to talk about my new investment thesis for the NFT space and how to approach the upcoming months. And specifically, I want to discuss how to invest in the metaverses. So before we do that, guys, before we have that discussion, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Also turn the notification bell on because the content that I upload is typically very time sensitive, so you want to stay updated. So let's jump right in. We have been discussing in the last video, but also on Twitter, the type of environment we live in right now when it comes to the NFT space. And this environment is a low volume environment. Now we could discuss prices, we could discuss floor price levels a lot, and we did as well. But one of the things that I am considering as very relevant is that the market is not as liquid as we would like it to be. There are not so many transactions going on. And there are not many transactions, especially comparing to mid-August and late August. Also, guys, bear in mind that today we have many more projects in the NFT space than we did 1.5 months ago, or at the beginning of August, more simply put. So today we are in an environment that in terms of volume is similar to the beginning of August, but the number of projects and the amount of attention that the space is seeing is completely different, which is why, in my opinion, this is particularly worrisome. And I said many of these 10K avatar projects are going to be dead very soon. And it's very hard to know which ones are going to survive, with, of course, the notable exceptions being the blue chips. So one of the things I also said in the last video, but that I've been pretty clear about in general, is that it is super, super hard to identify the projects that will work. And to go after these projects and in general to go chase these bubbles and to invest based on price momentum is something that I don't do, because I don't think that the rewards justify the risks you're taking. One of the things I tend to do is to look for the new waves when it comes to new possible, basically, trends that we might be witnessing in the space. So I have discussed this point also by looking at this chart here. And we have said a couple of days ago how it is evident right now that the NFT space, when it comes to volume, hence attention, transactions, call it as you might, moves in subsequent S curves. This was the first one. You need to squint a little bit to see it. This is the second one. And now it's pretty clear that we are seeing a third of this S curve playing out. And this basically represents peaking volume and then slowly tapering off. Peaks in volume and then slowly tapering off. And by the way, big shout out to at Hill Dobby here on Dune Analytics for creating these amazing dashboards. Now, why is this relevant for the next investment thesis? This is relevant because, as we said multiple times, I suspect that the next rally will not be in the same type of tokens of the last rally, because this is what happened last time and the time before that. There was always a shift in attention. The new topic that was hyped up, the new idea that was being hyped in the NFT space was something else compared to the previous rally. And my investment thesis right now revolves around an area that it is certainly not guaranteed it will be the next topic that will be hyped up, but it's certainly an asymmetric play, a play that has good chances, in my opinion. This is what I do, so none of this is investment advice, but I'm sharing with you what I think. But this area that I will discuss with you is an area that, in my opinion, has the chances of being with high positive optionality. So more upside potential than downside potential. And this is the space of the Decentraland. This is the space of the sandbox. These are the so-called metaverses. So places, games, if you will, that you log into and you have your own avatar. Everything, virtually everything is an NFT, and you can own pieces of land, you can own wearables, you can own objects, all sorts of things. And all of these items are NFTs. And by owning some of the land, you're basically owning some pieces of the infrastructure. And this is why I particularly like it. Because the main assumption that we have to make is that that infrastructure will be used and will grow in use, which is a huge assumption, of course. But it is, in my opinion, not as risky and not as laser focused as saying that the lazy lions will be successful in creating what they want to create. And for a number of reasons. So one of the reasons why I am particularly excited about the Decentraland, and I will discuss also the sandbox in a second, but let's discuss the Decentraland right now, is because they have so many updates coming all the time. And this is visible, and they publish them, of course. And also the governance structure that they have is particularly interesting, how they vote basically for updates, for new motions and all sorts of things. And also, one of the things that I found fascinating is the amount of partnerships that other players in the space are trying to establish with them. One example, and it's probably the prime example, is Decentral Games. So Decentral Games is probably the number one player when it comes to play to earn games. They mostly do gambling, so they basically do casinos and gambling houses. And where are they having these events? You guess it, in the Decentraland. And it's not just one event, it's multiple events. And they even employ actual people to be stewards, to be there and represent, or to mod a certain situation. And they also own one of the largest nodes when it comes to Polygon, because they need to broker so many transactions. Well, broker is probably not the right term, but anyway, they need to deal with one of the highest amount of transactions in the space, and so they decide to manage a node in the first place, and it's one of the largest nodes. So all these things combined together make me think that this space, thanks to the collaboration with the Decentral Games, will keep on thriving, and it is already thriving, but will probably grow even more. Now, there are other aspects and that I consider particularly interesting, and it's the fact that the Bored Apes have in the past also partnered with the Decentraland space by releasing some wearables that a character, an avatar, can wear in the space, in the Decentraland space, so to say. So what I'm noticing is many big projects, many large projects in the avatar realm, so the Bored Apes, the Lazy Lions, and all sorts of animals that have been released recently, are trying to strike partnerships with either the Sandbox or the Decentraland. Another example, in fact, could be the Cyberkongs striking a partnership with the Sandbox. And also, before I didn't say it, but I just passed upon this tab. Also, the Bored Apes have partnered with the Sandbox to create basically an area with a boat and basically a party area for the members of their club. And in general, this is a theme that I see time and time again. important projects or projects that are becoming more successful or that are very ambitious, what they want to do, they want to partner with the metaverses, being it the sandbox or the central end, but this is a recurring theme that is going on. Now, so far, what we have been talking about, what we have been discussing is nothing else than a nice story, a nice narrative, and yes, some indication of momentum, but there is no data, no quantitative data supporting it. And the only data point that I want to present to you is the following, guys. Let me show it to you in 1 second. All right, there you go. So this is a chart that shows the volume, because sum of price represents volume, of transactions when it comes to lots of land, so parcels of land in the central end, throughout the past 2 or 3 months. Now, if we go on OpenSea and we try to look to find this information, we don't find it. Okay, if you go and look for market information, the average price and the volume on OpenSea for the central end parcels, you do not find it. I don't know why, but it's one of those projects for which this information is not available. So I had to calculate it autonomously. And I did, and this is what came out, that the volumes have been rather stable and normal up until the very, very end of August. And now they're picking up. This is interesting to me because we saw that the volumes in general, where general basically means all these other 10K collections, are not picking up, are staying low in September, are actually plunging in September. So this is very important in my opinion because it shows that this project is receiving attention and it's picking up in terms of volume, in terms of transactions, so in terms of people that want to look at this, whether because they want to get rid of stuff or because they want to buy stuff. This we don't know yet because we don't have a price indication yet. But there is more attention going on, there is more volume going on there compared to the other stuff. The other stuff in general is losing volume of transaction. And when it comes to price has been rather stable. So this is a data point that doesn't help us that much, doesn't allow us to say, all right, so price is picking up in momentum, so it's time to be optimist. Even for the sandbox, price has been rather stable all the time, and it's been this way for months and months and months. So this is not a project, this is not a play for the flippers. If you want to flip in a week or so, or in 2 weeks, this is probably not the space to be in. And in general, I don't even know why you're on this channel if you're just flipping to make enormous returns in a week or two. Here we think about long-term investments and solid projects and solid plays. So this play has, in my opinion, fundamentals that other plays do not have. And it has momentum, it has big investments, and also it provides positive optionality and less risk because it is like comparing this play with a project that has been stationary for so many months versus projects that have seen extremely high volatility in price throughout exactly the same period. So, guys, as I said, none of this is investment advice. I just hope that this kind of analysis can help you in driving your own research, in doing your own research, And if that is the case, please remember to subscribe and hit the like button. Until the next video, guys. Ciao.